welcome to Awake TV. So today I have Steve Noble for the interview. He's a Starseed teacher and best-selling author. I found out about him through my client, and I'm so glad my client introduced me to him because I usually don't really look around the people outside of like when my guide introduced me to. I think my guide made my client mention about you. So I got curious and I looked at Steve and then his frequency was super high. So I'm like, okay, I gotta take a look at what's going on there. But anyhow, today I have Steve Noble. He's the author of several amazing books, including his latest book, Spiritual Entrepreneur. He was kind enough to put me on his book. So there's my story in there too. And then his journey of his spiritual awakening and everything, his journey to do what he's doing right now. So, Steve, please introduce yourself to people who might not know who you are. I'm pretty sure you know. But
well, I live in England, on the southeast coast of England. If you're looking at the map of London, straight down by the sea, I live there on the sea. I love living by the sea. I've lived in England all my life. I was born here. My family are pretty 3D or pretty non-spiritual. They're not really that spiritual. I got married 21, I think it was, and was married for a long time. I have 2 children. My ex-wife is not that spiritual, not interested. We divorced. My children were a bit worried for a while, thinking, Dad, are you running a bit crazy in all the spiritual journey? But now they're older and they kind of more love me and accept me, and it's all fine. I have 4 grandchildren. I was a director of a spiritual organization for many years. Well, I had 20 years regular jobs, corporate jobs. And then...
Yeah, you work at the bank.
Yeah, international bank in London, and then a local authority in London. And then I was a director of this spiritual organization for 13 years, which hosted spiritual authors from around the world. And lots of Americans come through, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Byron Katie, a lot of the Eckhart Tolle, a lot of these authors came through. I met them, I listened to them. And I resigned from that in winter solstice 2012. I had a bit of a dark night for a few years. And then in 2016, I woke up and I was given the message, start this job. So I've decided to follow it. And I've been doing, for the last 5 or 6 years, working with Starseeds, Ascension, meditation, transmissions, helping to transform people's lives energetically.
Yeah, his meditation is amazing. So I want to delve into more about your spiritual awakening. I do understand you were working at the bank and then shift yourself to alternative, and then you're told to do, you got to help Starseed. But when you were a child, did you notice any connection with outside of the earth or angelic realms, or anything happened when you're a child?
As a child, I was very drawn to, you could say, spiritual things. I didn't have the word for spiritual. I was drawn to superheroes. I was drawn to futuristic sci-fi, Doctor Who, and then as a teenager, Star Trek. And I would see all of those films. I loved them. You know? Doctor Who, you know about Doctor Who's a Time Lord who travels interdimensionally. And it was like, wow, you can travel through time interdimensionally. I thought this is a great idea. And when I was a child, I was very drawn to the book The Hobbit, which was a kind of magical book, and then The Lord of the Rings. I read The Lord of the Rings maybe 15 times by the time I was 21. You know, a lot. I read it a lot. I was drawn to Greek mythology, gods and goddesses, ancient Egypt. I was drawn to all of these things. I didn't know why, really. I was just really drawn. And then when I was a teenager, my parents were really against me being too weird, and so I tried to be normal. I went into a bank, which was a terrible decision for me, for 10 years, trying to be normal. And then, you know, it took me a while to come out. My first awakening was in 1991 when my father died, and that was the beginning of this journey, which was 31 years ago. And I had this big 20-year journey. And then when I was in alternatives, I started having this dark night of the soul, which was this my soul really wanted me to shift out of alternatives, out of the spiritual organization. I didn't want to leave, so I resisted it. And there was a battle between me and my soul. That kind of soul says leave, and I said no. I love this place. I love the family. I love the work I'm doing. And in the end, I left. But I went into this really dark night, which was because I was resisting my soul journey. And then it took me 6 years to clear it and come out. And then on the other side, I felt I was rebooted, like a computer system went through a reboot. My whole system was rebooted. I started getting all these transmissions downloading into my system. And I resisted a little bit, but then I decided no more resistance, just do it. And I put everything up on YouTube. I decided to follow everything. I decided, okay, I'll be weird. Let's be weird. Why not? And that's
Awesome.
my journey. Yeah.
So when you get download, do you get visually or do you get auditory, or how do you get it?
When they first started, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, it was slow. It was like I'd feel some change in my energy field. I'd feel some pressure on my head. I'd feel some, and it took me days to work it out. I've been asking, what is this? What's this energy? What does it want to do? Who are you? What? And it took me a long time to translate it. Now it's quicker. Now I don't just wait for transmissions. I ask Spirit, how about doing something for the heart chakra? Should we do it? And if I get a yes, let's do it. And it becomes quickly. It's like a quick conversation. And I run it through my energy field. I feel, is it complete? If it feels complete, I put it out. If it's not complete, I say something is missing. And then we have a little dialogue and we add the piece that's missing, and then it's fine. So they run through my body to feel complete. If it feels complete, I know. I don't just do it and put it out there. I have to feel it and go, oh yeah, this is really good. This is good. This is transformational. And then other people will feel it. If I don't feel it, I can't put it out.
Because your meditation comes like right one for right timing,
Yeah.
always, right? As
Yeah.
if like your team read all of our collective need and they, okay, put this out.
Yeah, there is a collective finger on the pulse, I think, or on that collective pulse. And at the moment, there's a lot of need in the collective. There's a lot of need because of stress, because of this situation going on in the world, which I think is orchestrated. But anyway, it's a situation going on in the world. And people are waking up because time is speeding up.
Yeah.
Since the millennium, when those forces that don't really want ascension on the planet launched the 9/11, which was in part to block ascension, to keep the vibration of the planet in war.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out very, very much well. It didn't work out really. And so now this global situation has been deliberately launched to keep the planet in control and fear and manipulation and mind control. There's all these kind of things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of also not working out exactly the plan, because really here's a problem that give permission for the governments to crack down and take away all our freedoms. And it's not working out. People are rebelling, in Canada, they're rebelling. In America, the Supreme Court, I think, has been blocking the president and what he's trying to do. In Britain, they backed away. So it's not working out very well. But they're always trying things to keep the planet in war or control. I think that the one that's coming up, maybe Ukraine. There seems to be a thing around Ukraine in the moment. But I think all these things are deliberately orchestrated. But the planet is heading towards more light, more freedom, more starseeds on the planet. But at this moment, there's a lot of resistance from old forces on the planet that don't want that to happen. So.
My understanding is right now, most of babies who are, born here are starseed.
Maybe what I feel, because for a long time, starseeds were in a very minority, maybe 1% of starseeds. For a long time, from the 60s onwards, maybe a little bit more, but only in some parts. Like in America, you had flower power, you had all of this. This was starseeds going in some places and gathering together. Since 2012, about 1 in 3 are starseeds.
Yeah, I woke up 2010, and then I kind of like realized there are so many starseed born in the States or moved to the States. I have no idea because maybe the state is a central think of what's going on or what.
Yeah.
But I found it very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of starseeds born in the States because a lot of dark forces are also in the States. So deep state and military and all of the political shenanigans. It's very strong in America. And so you have a lot of starseeds there bringing in a lot of light into America. America is a very important part of the whole ascension process. But so going from 1% starseeds on the planet to 1/3 is a big shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I think around 2030, it's shifting again to maybe 2/3 starseeds, which means the majority of people on the planet from 2030 onwards will become increasingly starseeds. And then maybe 2050, all babies coming in will be starseeds because the planet doesn't shift overnight. It takes years for the whole planet to shift. You know, by 2050, the planet will be majorly in the light. But we're just going through the all of that, clearing the old stuff out so the planet can shift into light. So we're like, we have the heavy job, really. You know, us guys, we got the heavy job of confronting the dark and clearing it and bringing some new ideas in. And if you look now, when I was a kid or as an adolescent, I was looking for spirituality. I looked around, I couldn't find it. Yoga or Osho or there was nothing really around. But now there's millions. The whole internet is ablaze with spiritual stuff, teachers and channels everywhere.
Yeah. So when I look at you and when I look at your energetic signature, audience, we each have an energetic signature like a fingerprint. Even angels do have it. So when I look at your energetic signature, Steve, I can see your angelic signature.
Oh,
so
nice.
Are you aware of your own archangel connection? Your higher self, maybe?
I feel a connection with the Elohim, which is a band of angels, creator angels. And I do feel a connection with lots of angels. I mean, I feel like they're old friends in a way.
Your colleague.
Yeah, but the Elohim, I feel strong connection to. I also feel strong connection to Sirius, ET, stellar races, Sirius. I feel a strong connection with. So I think I've been around a few different places. So they use me now because I have some connections with angelic realms, stellar races. Also in nature, I have a connection to the Deva kingdom, the elementals. So I have a broad connection. So they can use me if they want. I'm like an interesting type of channel for them.
Yeah, that's interesting. And in your country, there is a lot of portals for the fairy kingdom as well.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you guys to get in touch with the elementals, no?
Yeah. Well, I go to Glastonbury twice a year. Glastonbury is a lot of ley lines and a lot of energy portals. I go to Avebury to see the crop circles, usually every year. Findhorn, I've been maybe a dozen times up in Scotland, the community up there that deals with angels and danger spirits. And Ireland, not in the cities, but in the countryside, Ireland is full of fairy rings and everything. So, they're all over the place.
And my co-host is interested in there's more information about crystal DNA. Can you tell us more about that?
Crystal DNA?
Yeah.
Well, the human form is shifting. It shifts energetically first. So before the human form shifts, there's an energetic etheric shift. And in the DNA, there's these what do you call it? Spirals and 2-strand at the moment, because humanity was a 5D race, and it had many more strands and many more connections in the DNA. But then humanity chose to experience separation for whatever reason, and there was connection with dark ET races that started coming in, interfering with the human DNA, and so the human DNA was scrambled from the heart downwards. Sorry, heart upwards, I should say, not heart downwards. So humanity mostly runs on base chakra, sacral, and solar plexus. but mostly the base and the sacral, to be honest. And
Yeah.
now more strands in the DNA are being reactivated, which is helping the chakras to open. So when we have these 12 strands, then all of the chakras start opening. And there's because scientists call it junk DNA, but there's a reconnection with all of this so-called scrambled DNA that starts fitting with all these strands. And so more and more gifts come online. Gifts that starseeds are starting to open up, gifts of inner knowing, gifts of hearing spirit, gifts of seeing, gifts of, further on, the higher up you go, you can even begin to do things like teleporting and do very strange. I haven't quite got to the teleporting yet. It would be very nice. I could just teleport them to America and not catch the plane with all that, but I haven't worked that one out yet. So the crystal DNA is where the humans are going. The human field is shifting from carbon-based two-strand DNA to crystalline-based, at least 12 strands. No, it may be more, but at least 12-strand DNA. And that means all the chakras start opening, all of our gifts start coming back online, our energy field starts expanding. And at the moment, you won't see those strands of DNA under a microscope, but maybe further along, maybe 20, 30, 40 years along, they may start seeing physical DNA shifting. I don't know how long it would take, but at the moment, all the shifts is mostly energetic.
Awesome. So what do you think of, years ago, people talking about the event, and then I did a future life regression on me and checked out what's going on now compared to a couple of years ago. And then I personally don't experience event, but I hear other people did. So what is your point of view about the event?
The event, yeah. Well, some teachers, some channels have been talking about this event, which is, some people talk of it like a massive solar flash from the sun that creates a big shift in everyone. And but there are other channels like Cryon, for example, who talks about slow, uncomfortable change. And so I believe, and I feel more that way, that I feel the planet is shifting through a number of small events. There'll be a number of earth changes. There are already earth changes. Volcanoes, storms have got worse. We've just been in England through Storm Eunice. The coast have been battered here. And in America, the storms in the last 10 years, at least, maybe 20 years, have increased. Volcanic activity. So there are all this stuff going on. There's also the dimension of interference from dark forces, because dark forces are also trying to stir up earth changes. They're also sending these, I know the fires in California, I think some of them were actually worsened by laser weapons and things like that are causing things. There's all kinds of weird things happening that are not natural, but some of it is natural and some of it's being deliberately stirred up by dark forces. So I think we're going to see increasingly, the earth shifting, and we need to be in touch with our intuition. So if we're being told, get out of this area, we listen and we move, and I think starseeds should be in tune with their intuition. Most earth beings who have been here too long are not in tune with that. There was that tsunami in Asia, the Indian Ocean, where a number of tourists were just sitting, looking out, looking, going, well, where's the water gone? They had no idea, but all the tribal people run out into the hills, all the animals got away quickly. It's almost like most people on the earth plane have got a disconnection to their intuition. They're not really feeling it. Whereas starseeds should be feeling their connection, and being told, do this, do that, do. I lived in London all my life, and then I got told, time to leave, get out. That was a year and a half before COVID. And being out of London by the sea, the fresh air, the clear sea air was very good, very healing.
Yeah, I heard my friends from Ireland, they are not feeling too much, but they don't have a restriction now. But even when they had it, they can still go out and then do the gardening and stuff like that. So if you don't go out to the restaurant, you don't really feel much differences. So yeah, that's really cool. I want to move into your creative process. So you're a very creative person, and then you wrote so many books and you make meditations. So could you tell us about your process of writing your spiritual entrepreneur?
Oh yeah, the book.
Yes.
So there it is. So I've been into business, spiritual business, ever since I was a director of alternatives, into marketing, into seeing what works, what doesn't, what the collective respond to, what they want, and now in my own business, the same. It's a bit different working in another business promoting other people than promoting myself. So I had to write down, I thought I should write down everything that I found worked in the last 30 years of working in spiritual business, from the practical side, like marketing and branding and niching and finding clients, and to the energetic. How do you shift the energy of your business? How do you shift the energy of your offering? And when I started writing it, it's a bit always for me. It's a jigsaw puzzle, and the pieces are floating around. And so for the book, it took me, I don't know, 5 or 6 months to write it, maybe. And I had to pull all the pieces. Where does this piece fit? Where does that? I want this has to go in somewhere. And so then I'm just rearranging all the pieces until they fit and click. And to be honest, it didn't. It took me till a week or so before finishing the book for all of the pieces to click and the structure to be okay, it's done. The meditations are similar. There's downloads and information, and they're like little, maybe less pieces of the jigsaw, and they have to, okay, this is what this meditation's doing. How do we do it? What's the first step? This piece. Okay, what's the second step? This piece. What's the third step? This piece. And I'm always interested in making sure the structure is right, because if the structure is right, then the book and the meditation works. If the structure is wrong, I could say wonderful things in the meditation, but the structure wouldn't be complete and it wouldn't work. So for me, having an enlightened structure is the most important. And then allowing the content to fit into the structure.
So do you plan the structure, or structure kind of like construct by itself, like energetically, or you download it, or?
Well, first it starts with the theme. What is this that's coming? What is this theme? And if it's like, oh, okay, this theme is something to do with the heart chakra, clearing and healing. Okay, who do we need to call in? Which are the beings, which energies? And then when we call them in, which order do we call them in? And when we call them in, what do they do? And then what do we do next? And so for me, in my astrology, I'm a Virgo midheaven. So my career line is Virgo. My sun is Libra in 11th house. So Libra is balance. It has to be balanced and harmonious. My rising is Scorpio. It has to be edgy and powerful. But my midheaven is Virgo, which means it has to have a structure that holds everything perfectly. So they're the energies that I work, which is in alignment with my astrological structure. So yeah, it may not work for everyone in the offering. You know, not everyone will put it together the way I put it together. But for me, structure. I've worked with people, for example, who do transmissions. I've worked in workshops with them, and they're very free flowing, especially just what comes in the moment. I can't do that. I don't just let free flowing. I need to know in advance, what is it? Test it in myself. Is it complete? Then I can give it to other people. But if I don't test it on myself, I can't just give it in case it's not complete or not right.
So after you finish it, you're just gonna try it on to see it works?
Yeah, I run it through in meditation. Okay, these angels, this, and okay, is it working? Oh, something is off. Okay, what is off? I ask them, why am I off? Something is not working. You've missed something, or I haven't heard something. And then they give me the piece, this piece there, and then, okay, now it's fine. And I think people feel it's powerful because this is the way I work. I run it in my body. I want to make sure, is it powerful? If it edgy, does it transform? I don't just want to make people feel nice. You know, it's nice people feel good and nice, but it's not about just feeling nice. It's about transforming something.
Yeah, and it
helping
actually
people move.
does. And then your meditation, all archangels you call in does exist, because I work with them. I can feel them, and I can detect their vibration. They're there. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
So your book, Spiritual Entrepreneur, it has a lot of helpful information for the Starseed who wants to leave their business, whatever they are doing right now. Maybe that's not what they really want to do, and there's something more meaningful, something more aligned to their soul. So, all this information came from your experience and as well, but you also do teach the class how to write a book with how to channel book, like you serve that seminar. So do you channel that kind of information as well?
Yeah,
Practical
the book
tips?
is channeled, but it's also from my experience. I can only write from my experience, really. So all
Mm-hmm.
that I found worked in my business and in alternatives, I put in there. But also within that, there's a lot of channeling of um, is it all there? Is there something missing? What else needs to be there?
Mm.
So, and there's a lot of it I didn't, you know, when you know how to do something and then
Mm.
someone says, how do you do that? And you have to stop and go, oh, how do I do that? Let me write it down. It's a bit like someone who plays tennis and someone who's good at tennis and someone says, how do you play that tennis so well? And they have to stop and think, well, okay, this is how I've done it. And there's a lot of practical strategies that have
Yeah, it
worked.
is practical. Yeah.
And, you know, Spirit has also given me very practical advice, because when I worked in alternatives, one of the things I did do was often go in and ask Spirit, what do I need to do here? How do I make the company more successful? And they would tell me very practical advice.
Mm.
Book that speaker, employ that person, shift and do this. And I was getting a lot of advice. I was doing online stuff and at alternatives. I put a lot of stuff online
Mm-hmm.
ahead of a lot of way ahead of a lot of other organizations. I saw the potential because I was told of the potential and I
Mm.
followed the advice. And a lot of people around me didn't see it the way I was seeing it. Because Starseeds can be visionary. You know, for example, back in 2003, I think. So the internet was really kicking off. We got a website up, and I went to some other spiritual organizations, and I said to them, "How can we work together?" This was early on,
Mm-hmm.
and the idea of cooperation was very new those days. Even in spiritual organizations, they wanted competition. And
Mm.
I remember one woman saying to me, one manager of one organization, she said, why should we help you? And I had to sit and have tea with her and persuade her that we can help each other. And actually, we became friends and we did help each other for many years. But at the beginning, very, very resistant. She couldn't see the vision. She couldn't see what I was seeing. And in alternatives, the other directors, often I would have a vision of something and I would see it before any of them. And I would tell them, and they were like, what? And it took them a while. I mean, eventually they just trusted me. They said, okay, I don't understand what you're talking about, but let's try it. Okay. And so I was the kind of the visionary. And any successful business, you need to have some element of visionary in a
Mm.
business. If you're
Yeah.
just like managing detail and have no vision, you can't see the way forward, then nothing works. I remember having a disagreement while I was in alternatives with a person who was a friend at the time.
Mm.
And he said to me, what's your 5-year plan for alternatives? And I said, I don't have a 5-year plan. I have a 1-year plan at most.
Yeah.
I can only see 1 year ahead because everything is changing. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand it because he was very left brain. And
Mm.
I'm not that left brain. I could see the timeline ahead. So, and also the guides tell me, make these shifts now. Don't wait till it's too late. Shift it now. And
Mm.
so I shifted everything online in my own business 2016, way before COVID. And then when COVID hit, my business was up and running. I could be anywhere. And the old organization alternatives, which I was in,
Mm.
I said to them, get more online. And they resisted and they didn't. And so when COVID hit, they had problems for a while until, to be honest, they did very quickly get everything online very successfully. But, you know, I didn't need that. It was a bit of stress for a while till they got it up. And I didn't have that stress. When COVID hit, I had an increase in my business, maybe 20%. It was a lot more people coming, looking for people like that. So I was guided by Spirit to do it. And I'm still listening to Spirit all the time, you know, and some of the advice is very strange. And I follow it, you know.
Yeah, like I remember you were told you have to help Starseed. That's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, they told me in 2016, and I didn't like it because I didn't want to help Starseeds. I didn't know if I even believed in them. When I was in alternatives, I heard about Starseeds, I heard about Ascension. 2012, I thought, is it real? I don't know if it's real. But after my dark night of the soul, I realized it was real, and so I said, okay, we'll do it. Okay, let me download, because I didn't know much about. I didn't really feel I knew much about Starseeds. So I had to ask them, download quickly everything, because I need to learn this very quickly.
Yeah,
And now it's different. Now I'm more ahead of it.
and then you probably did have a life as a one of your galactic life as a Syrian. So do you think a part of your creativity process comes from Syrian galaxy? Because Syrians are known, especially Syrian A, are known to be super creative.
Yeah, I think I have a strong connection with Sirius, and a channel told me that I have a strong connection with dolphins, whales, and I'm, to be honest, I'm still opening to that connection because it's not 100% come yet. It's still coming. I live by the sea. I have to be by the sea. You know, I have to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely in the
Yeah.
Syrian
So I
galaxy.
have that connection to sea and Syrian, and it's Syrian whales, Syrian dolphins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that connection is still coming. I did have a connection recently with golden whales from Sirius.
Oh,
And there's
wow.
a woman introduced me to them, but I can only meet them when I'm with her. I don't know why it is that way. And when I met her this morning on the Zoom, and when we're together, I can meet them. When we're apart, I'm not meeting them, and I don't understand this. So we may do a transmission together because I need her energy to be there for some reason.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you ask your archangels why?
Not yet, no, but I think I need to write that down. I'll ask him why. Why is this connection not happening at the moment? Maybe I'm missing home too much and I'm too homesick or something. I don't know.
That could be possible. That
Yeah.
could be possible. And then also my co-host is wondering about she wanted to know what your thought on ADHD kids. My
Which?
thought is that's a completely,
ADHD kids. Oh,
yeah.
ADHD. Yeah. Yeah.
My thought is they are completely fabrication and they made up for it. But what are your thought about that?
Um, I think that some starseeds, the new ones,
Hmm.
have never been on the Earth plane before. A lot of them, and they struggle quite a bit in orientating here, and especially with schooling, because they can't deal with control and authority and this way of dealing, and so they rebel and they can't do it. I think a lot of people on the spectrum may be starseeds, just orientating themselves here. A lot of them are highly creative, highly genius,
Yeah.
but they're not genius in the way that the system wants them to be a genius, you know. And so I think, yeah, a lot of these kids are absolutely amazing. I've met kids who just download stuff like me. They download it much quicker and they pass their exams, and they're just
Wow.
downloading. Yeah, they're not studying at all, which I find quite amazing. They don't even have to read about it; they just download it.
That's
My
very
stepson
galactic
did
characteristic.
the same. Hmm?
That's very galactic characteristic.
Yeah, I wish I had learned that skill when I was a teenager. I wouldn't study it, but I didn't know that skill. I just was studying very hard to pass everything.
Me too.
Yeah, and I mean now I do sometimes research, but very lightly. If it's a new area, I just look at something just very lightly to find the main points. But I don't want
Mhm.
to read too much because it will interfere. And then I get, okay, now if for example someone tells me about Telos, the city under Shasta, I
Oh
might go and
yeah.
look online and see what is this city about, and then I'll go within and find out what I feel about it.
I tried to go there and then first time I've been there, I could only go into like a white small room. I couldn't even go outside. And then I actually went there through Shambhala because I couldn't directly go in through the meditation. So I had to use a portal of Shambhala to go to Telos, and that's where I got in. But I couldn't get out. And finally, I kind of like contacted with a demo, and then he showed me around. But it's very interesting. Like they're
yeah.
like descendant of Lemurians,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, they are. Actually, Shambhala is, you've just triggered, it's something I need to look at, because Shambhala, I know I need to go there and do something on it, and I haven't done it yet. So I'll ask them and see, can we
yeah,
go
and
there and do something?
it might be a good idea to make a meditation of that. I
Yeah.
went there before I go through my training. There's a gate you have to go through, and then I went to Amethyst Temple a lot, and then that's
Mm,
where the Ascended Master gather. And then
yeah.
they did a lot of implants and removing and healing, like before I studied to learn how to heal, because I was told to do that by Archangel Raphael. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that because I wasn't in the spiritual industry. So I was like, why the heck do I have to learn this? And then
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like, that's for you,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very interesting place to be.
Yeah. Oh, I need to go there. As soon as you said it, I thought, I need to go there.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'll do that as soon as I get the time. There's always a time is the issue. Really.
Archangel Michael is saying do it ASAP.
Yeah,
You know
that's going to be on the top of my list now.
how he's like, he's very bossy.
Yeah.
But do you have anything you like to share with us?
Well, I suppose for most people, there has been this fear around the planet, and there's been a big fear, even among starseeds, around what's been going on, about the control, about mandating and travel being restricted. And I think last year there was a great heaviness on the planet, really, including starseeds. And even me, I could feel this heaviness. And are we living in a prison planet now, or what are they doing? But this year, I think the light is broken through more. You can see the light is breaking out through structures. In America, Canada, Australia, there's a lot of countries where there's a lot of challenges happening at a practical level. The truckers in Canada, in England, the challenge in the law courts, which has made the government back away. And so the light is breaking through this year. And this year really has been one of the light and the dark kind of vying, whereas last year the dark seemed to be really coming out and pounding. And I think by the end of this year, the light will be breaking through a lot of these old dark structures. So I think if there is any fear starseeds have taken on, it's a really good idea just to release collective fear. There's a lot of, even on the human population, there's fear going on still. It's good to release it as a practice, purge it out of your field, allowing more light, more space in your energy field, not take on fear from the collective or anger, because there's also a lot of anger growing as well. So anger and fear, because they're quite low vibration. Starseeds are meant to hold the light, and the planet's shifting, and let it shift. Don't worry about it too much. Do what you can, but no anxiety. That's my advice. And no fighting the dark. Don't fight the dark. We don't need to fight them. Let go through them, go past them. The dark are becoming irrelevant in this year's we're in now.
Yeah, you're talking about focus on love and light, and then small your life instead of go battle, right? You're writing about that in the Telegram.
Yeah, no fighting the dark. I mean, a lot of humans need to rise up and say no. A lot of the human population, that's their job. They have to stand up and take the planet back. But starseeds are here to hold the light and to do some practical things. I mean, I do share lots of information here and there, but we're not here to directly battle the dark, because that's not our job.
Yeah, because that has been the message from 90 Actuarians or Astor. They've been talking about that, because once you entangle yourself with that quantum entanglement of fighting with the dark forces, you're going to stuck into that 4D dimension. And it's very difficult for you to be the leader to help people to shift to 5D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you have what's going on in your activity right now? Your work, your anything?
My work, well, I would love to write another book, which would be Starseeds #2, but it's just getting time. I would love to write a book. I'd love to start doing training in the healing system I've created, which is still evolving really. but we're not really there yet. It may take another year before that will be ready. I'm very busy with grandchildren. I've got 4 granddaughters who come. 2 of them visited yesterday. I'm just like this morning. I was like, oh God, you know, they're lovely little starseeds, but they're, you know, one's very little, one's 3.5, one's 9 months, and I took them down along the seafront, and we had a great day with them. But I'm just so tired. So my granddaughters, putting this work out on YouTube, the transmissions all the time. You know, most of my work is free. All the transmissions are free. People can just listen to all the free stuff, and I just want them to shift and be happy. And you know, no one needs to come have sessions or listen to my. I do have a lot of webinars that people can come and tune into and do classes if they're interested. But otherwise, you know, I'm fully busy with partner, life, grandchildren, children, work. Takes up all my time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming here with me and sharing your life and sharing your work with our audience. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, thanks, Erica. My pleasure.
Okay, so that was Steve's interview. And then I put the link of where you can reach Steve and how you can find him in the comment box and the description box. So his meditation is really good. His webinar is amazing. So please check it out. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, and I see you guys next time. Bye.